Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, my students? I hope that you're happy and healthy and ready for today's lesson. Unit 1, the project. But before we begin our lesson, let's jump to the workbook, page 82, and answer some questions and refresh our memory about our previous lessons. So question here, number J, exercise J, match the jobs and sentences. Some of the sentences can be used for more than one profession. Then write one more sentence about necessary characteristics and qualifications for each job. So you can see the box here. We have some jobs. The first one is already have been marked construction engineers. So we have accountants, medical doctors, architects, teachers, flight attendants, TV presenters, consultants, photographers, and reporters. So we have here many professions, and we'll be answering the questions related to these professions. So you see the first one is already done for you. It's written here, it is essential that they like working outdoors. It is essential that they like working outdoors, outside the house, out in the open. Who are they? So, of course, you can say construction engineers. Then we have to write sentence about what is necessary for the characteristics or the qualification of the construction engineer. You say here, it is important, the conjunctive here, it is important that they are good at supervising building projects, of course. It is important that they are good at supervising building projects, or you can say it is important or it is necessary that they are good at math, because of course he's an engineer. So now you get the picture. Let's jump to number 2. It is important that they double check every figure. Again, it is important that they double check, to check 2 times. To double check every figure. So what's the profession here that it's important that they double check every figure? Yes, of course, the accountants at the supermarket or in the companies or wherever they are, their work is related only to numbers. So it's important that they double check every number, every figure that they come across. So what is the necessary characteristics or qualifications for being an accountant? Can you say some qualification or a characteristic for being an accountant? Let's see here. It is necessary that they keep records meticulously. Again, it is necessary that they keep record meticulously. So it means that they have to keep records bit by bit, because they are working with numbers. Number 3, they need to invest a lot of time, hard work, and study to succeed. Again, they need to invest a lot of time, hard work, and study to succeed. So what's the profession here? Let's check. Medical doctors. Of course, medical doctors, they had a hard time and they had to study really hard to succeed. So can you give me some qualifications or characteristics for being a medical doctor? Let's see here. We expect them to cure us. We expect them to cure us, or you can say it is important that they are patient, because they are dealing with patients, of course. Number 4, it is imperative that they be good at designing buildings. It is important that they are good at designing buildings. I think this is an easy one. Of course, it's an architect. Of course, it's an architect, and try to come up with some qualifications for the architect. Let's see here together. It is essential that they have an eye for style and design. This is a good one. It is essential that they have an eye for style and design. It is important that they have the imagination, the eye for style and designing buildings, because that's what an architect do. They design buildings. Number 5, parents want them to be creative, friendly, and effective. Parents want them to be creative, friendly, and effective. Who are they? What is the profession we're talking about here? Let's check the answer here together. Of course, it's teachers. So, what are some of the characteristics a teacher should have or qualities? Of course, there are a lot. Let's see here. It is necessary that they take work home. Of course, it's necessary that they take work home, and also it's necessary that they be patient. It's necessary that they know how to deal with children. Of course, a teacher should have and must have many qualifications. Number 6 here, passengers expect them to be polite and helpful. Passengers, travelers on a plane, passengers expect them to be polite and helpful. Who are they? Of course, the flight attendants. The flight attendants should be polite and helpful. So give me some qualifications a flight attendant should have. Let's see the answer here together. It is imperative that they be courteous and efficient. Again, it is imperative that they be courteous and efficient. Of course, it's important that they be efficient. Number 7 here, viewers want them to be informative and entertaining. Viewers want them to be informative and entertaining. Viewers, so someone is watching them. Who are they? Let's see the answer here. The TV presenters. TV presenters. So give me some qualifications for TV presenters here. Yes, they need to pay attention to the way they look. Of course, a TV presenter, because he's always on TV, he should pay attention to the way that he looks. How does he dress, his hair, and so on. So they need to pay attention to the way they look. Number 8, it is necessary that they listen to people and help them make decisions. It is necessary that this profession, listen to people and help people. So what is the profession here? Let's see the answer here together. It's a consultant. Consultant. So what qualifications should a consultant have? Yes, you can say it is important that they listen carefully. So a consultant, of course, he should be patient, and he should also listen carefully to the person that he is consulting. Number 9, it is essential that they have artistic talent and appropriate training. Again, it is essential that they have artistic talent and appropriate training. Who are they? Yes, photographers. Of course, photographers should always have the artistic eye and the talent to take the right photo. So what other qualifications a photographer should have? Let's see here. It is necessary that they have an eye for detail and know what to do. As I said before, a photographer should have an eye for detail and know what exactly to do once they take the photo. Number 10, we expect them to inform us of what is happening in the world. Again, we expect them to inform us of what is happening in the world. Who are the people that we expect them to tell us what's happening in the world? Let's check the answer here together. It's, of course, the reporters, and it is imperative that they check information before using it. Of course, being a reporter, before using the information, you have to check if this information is valid or not, if it's correct or not, so you don't spread an informative information. Exercise K here on page 83. Look at the picture, write the headings and information you will need to give when you apply for a job. Write the questions. What do you think? Write the questions that you think would ask a person applying for a job if you were the boss. Again, look at the picture, page 83 in the workbook. Write the headings of information you will need to give when you apply for a job. And the second part here, write the questions that you would ask a person applying for a job if you were the boss. So if you were the boss, what are the questions that you're going to ask someone who is applying for a job in your company? This is the first table here. Information required on an application form. What kind of information, if you have to make an information form, what kind of information that you would ask people to write? For example, here, their name, their family name, the address, and contact details. Of course, these are essential information. Again, name, family name, address, and contact details. What other information in the form also? Let's check here the second one. Work experience, qualifications, professional training. Of course, you should know if they have some work experience before, how many years, and also the qualifications. Do they have some certificates or degrees in some universities? Also, professional training. Have they had some professional training before coming to this company or not? Also, interests, references, previous employers. Interests, what are they interested in? And references and previous employers. Of course, this is necessary to know the previous employer. Where were you working before, and why did you leave your previous job? So what kind of questions, if you are a boss here, if you are the boss, what kind of questions you would ask someone who is trying to apply for your company? Let's come up with the first question. Have you ever worked in this kind of area before? So this is an interesting question. Have you ever worked in this kind of area before? Especially if it's a different area from what he was working before. He was working with numbers, for example, and now he's working with animals. So it's a different area. So you have to know, have he worked in this area before or not? So the second question, try to come up with a second question. If you are a boss and someone wants to work for you, what kind of question you want to ask? Let's see the second one that I have written here. Where were you trained? If you had training before, where was it? Was it a big company, a small company, a government company? All of them are good, of course. So it is important to know, where did he receive his training? What about a third question here? Try to think of a third question. Let's see together here. Why did you leave your last job? This is an important question actually. If you're a boss and someone wants to apply for you, you have to ask, why did you leave your previous job? Was there a problem? Is there something wrong with you? So you have to ask this question. Exercise L here, writing my career and life goals. Page 84 in the workbook. What are your career and life goals? Write notes in the chart. Of course, you'll be doing this one yourself, but I will give you some hints. Again, my career and life goals. What are your career and life goals? Write notes in the chart. Of course, you have to have life goals. You have to have, even at your age now, you have to have life goals, a profession you want to work at, a job, a place you want to work at, and so on. So here's a chart to help you. Things I'm good at. Write the things that you are good at. Maybe you're good in using computers. Maybe you're good in English. Maybe you're good in athletics, and so on. Try to write the things that you are good at. And also things I'd like to do in the next 1 or 2 years. What are your goals in the next 2 years? Things that you want to achieve, to do in the next 1 or 2 years. Maybe learning a specific language, and so on. Things I'd like to do in the next 7 to 10 years. So this is a long-term goal. This is a long-term goal. Things I'd like to do in the next 7 to 10 years. So you have to think really hard about how to fill this chart. Now write an essay about your career and life goals. Answer the following questions. What are your natural abilities? What are your short-term goals? And what are your long-term goals? So these are the same information that we have written in the chart. And also, again, this is an important thing to do before to set your career and your goals in your life. Exercise M here, write the question tags. Write the question tags. If you remember the question tags lesson from the form, meaning, and function, if the sentence is affirmative, the tag is negative. If the sentence is negative, the tag is affirmative. So number 1, it was a part-time job. It was a part-time job. I think this is an easy one. What's the answer here? Yes, it wasn't it. It was a part-time job, wasn't it? So we take the same auxiliary verb and make it from positive to negative. Then we put the pronoun. Number 2, he works in a bank. He works in a bank. That's correct. Doesn't he? He works, present simple here, in a bank. Doesn't he? Number 3, you are not going to resign from your job. Again, you're not going to resign from your job. Are you? Because you are. The auxiliary verb here is are. Are you? Number 4, they took over the company. They took over the company. Notice took here is a past tense verb and it's affirmative. They took over the company. So what's the answer here? That's correct. Didn't they? Number 5, there's a new manager in charge. There's a new manager in charge. Isn't there? Number 6, we won't have another meeting today. We won't, of course, won't is short for will not. We won't have another meeting today, will we? So if it's a negative, just make it affirmative and take the same pronoun. Exercise N here on page 85. Write requests for the situations. Use can, could, or would. The first one is already done for you. You must speak to the manager. Excuse me, could I speak to the manager? So we're writing request for situation. A request here using can, could, or would. Number 1, you want to apply for a job. You don't have an application form. So number 1, you want to apply for a job, but you don't have an application form. How do you request to have the application form? Using can, could, or would. Let's see the answer here together. Of course, could I have an application form? Number 2, you're tired. You want to have a short break. You're tired and you want to request. You want to have a short break. How do you ask for it? Yes. Could or can I take a short break? Excellent. Number 3, you don't know where the manager's office is. You're going to a new company, a new place, and you don't know where the manager's office is. How do you ask for it? Yes, excuse me, can you tell me where the manager's office is? Of course, you say, excuse me, can you tell me where the manager's office is? Number 4, you want to know your customer's address and phone number. You want to know, you have a customer and you want to know his information, his address and phone number. How do you ask for them? Let's see here the answer here together. Would you mind telling me your address and phone number? Would you mind? We're using would here. Would you mind telling me your address and phone number? Number 5, you need to send a text, but you don't have a cell phone. You need to send a text, urgent, but now you don't have a cell phone. So what do you say? Would you be able to lend me your phone to send a text? So you're asking someone to give you his or her phone. Would you be able to lend me your phone to send a text? And to revise our previous lesson, the tag questions from the form, meaning, and function. As we mentioned before, if the sentence is negative, you write the tag in the affirmative and vice versa. Also, polite ways to ask for information using can, could, and would. And also polite ways to make requests with can, could, and would. When making a request, you begin with these auxiliary verbs. Can you, could you, or would you? And also to express obligation, we use must, mustn't, and have to express obligation. Obligation is something that you should do. You must do this. You mustn't speak at class. You must be good in your life, and so on. And also to express the necessity and lack of necessity with have to, need to, needn't to, don't have to, and don't need to. To express necessity when something is necessary, you have to do this, you need to finish your homework, or the lack of necessity, the absence of necessity, you don't need to help me, you don't have to come with me, and so on. So today's lesson, the project, this is our objective today, to write a report about a great job or a career. So you will be writing a report about a great job or a career using some of the steps that we will take now. Number 1, research and prepare presentation for your class on great jobs and careers. Number 2, work in pairs or groups. Decide on 3 great jobs. So try to think of 3 great jobs. Then search and collect information about each. Use the organizer to make notes. Then use your notes to prepare a PowerPoint presentation or a poster. Number 4, present it in class. So this is the chart here to help you. Job title, you can see here you have 3 jobs. Try to think of 3 great jobs. And the duties and activities, requirements, personal characteristics, employment prospects, career prospects. Think of a great job title, like a teacher or maybe a policeman. Duties and activities, of course, a policeman protects the innocent, protects the civilians. And requirements, what's the requirement of being a policeman? That maybe you are healthy and fit. Also, personal characteristics. Some personal characteristics, he should be patient because he's dealing with lots of pressure, and also he also has to deal with pressure. A policeman should know how to deal with pressure, and so on with the chart. So you have to put 3 job titles here. When you prepare a PowerPoint presentation, here are some hints for you. Remember to think of your audience and what they might want to know. Select your key points and words. Use appealing visuals and also a few points on each slides. Always use visuals, and rehearse in your group to make changes. Again, rehearse in your group and make changes. And with that, we reach the end of this lesson. See you next lesson, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.